something? I feel like either I've missed something, or seemingly every other film critic in the world has been sent a memo stating that the only film that's worth analysing and getting upset about during what passed for Blockbuster season 2016 was Ghostbusters. Which is news to me because there's lots of things that need to be discussed about that pile of dull, grey, CGI-infested boredom that infected my cinema this summer. Just off the top of my head, how about the fact that the absolutely sublime stop-motion film Kubo and the Two Strings bombed? It made $67 million against its $60 million budget, whilst the barely average CGI toy cartoon The Secret Life of Pets grossed $868 million worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing original animated film not produced by Disney or Pixar, and coincidentally the 49th highest-grossing film of all time. Or, how about the fact that 3 films this summer were supposed to have explicitly gay characters in? However, due to the fact that this would have resulted in China banning the films, the characters were neutered. Hell, how about the fact that the BFG was the first Steven Spielberg film to be considered a box office disappointment ever, as far as I can work out? Why is nobody focusing on this? Okay, maybe Ghostbusters is doing really badly on Rotten Tomatoes, aka the source of all the evil in the world ever. Nope, it's on 73%, higher than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, 38%, Ben-Hur, 26%, or Jason Bourne, 56%. So that can't be it. But who cares about people who watch films for a living? They failed to recognise the majesty of Suicide Squad, which they gave a miserly 26% to, when, as the film is currently the 8th highest grossing film of 2016, it should therefore be lauded as the new Godfather. Curiously though, I've never met anybody who wants to watch this one twice. Perhaps Ghostbusters did really badly at the box office, and people are worried about the poor movie execs who will now only be able to afford a 50-foot yacht instead of a 75-foot yacht. Things like that are social death, you know. And here's where things get tricky. I can easily find out what the studio claims it spent on the movie. Thanks, Wikipedia. But finding out the actual spend, let alone the cost of marketing, is next to impossible. Now, a good rule of thumb is that a movie costs the same to make as advertise. So a $50 million movie gets $50 million to advertise and needs to make more than double that to have been worth making in the first place. And it's not that easy to work out how much a film makes for its studio either. Sure, a film can say on Wikipedia that it made $100 million at the box office, but it doesn't say how much of that went to the studio and how much went to the cinema that actually played it. Estimates range from 20 to 80% going to the studio, but I heard rumours that a film franchise that rhymes with Farballs wanted 110% of the box office takings. And that's before we get into streaming, toys, music, so the best way to describe Ghostbusters' box office is to simply say, not enough. But other films were even more tragic. Ben-Hur allegedly incurred a loss of $120 million, the BFG $115 million, Alice Through the Looking Glass roughly $85 million. Now I'll admit that these figures aren't exact, and I'm sure that all of these films will eventually see something resembling a profit or make a fantastic write-off for tax purposes. Maybe people don't think the Ghostbusters looked very nice, except I thought it looked pretty good. Nice looking sets, decent special effects. I really like the way the ghost looked, very Tim Burton-esque in my opinion. It certainly looked better than Legend of Tarzan at any rate. No, that can't be it. Is it the "you've ruined a beloved classic and therefore ruined my childhood" whinge, to which I give neither time nor tolerance? 80s remakes are nothing new, and none of them have generated this level of hatred or critical analysis. Hell, The Thing, one of the greatest films of the 1980s, is itself a remake of a film from 1951, The Thing from Another World. And yes, the backlash has been so severe that Paul Feig has sworn off making any other remakes. He's currently busy with Spy 2. But is remaking Ghostbusters truly any worse than remaking RoboCop? Or Fame? Or Total Recall? Those remakes sucked, and they're still not being raked over the coals. I just want to state that I fully understand the hatred levelled at the new theme song by Fall Out Boy and Missy Elliott. It's one of the worst songs of the decade, and if you want to hate that, you go right ahead. Back to the film, and all that's left is the gender swap idea, which even then I'm not really buying. Yes, they swapped men for women, but they're doing the same for Ocean's 11, although they're calling it Ocean's 8, and I don't hear the same war drums being beaten. Maybe none or all of these are the reason for the continued hatred towards Ghostbusters and the overlook of every other single issue that was raised during this summer. Myself, I thought Ghostbusters was okay. The cast was given too much room to improvise. What jokes they did leave in were awkward and mostly unfunny. The villain sucked and it should have lost maybe 15 minutes. But it was harmless and seems to have inspired women to consider going into science as a career, so in the long run I can only say that that's a good thing. But what do you guys make? And what did you think of the blockbuster season summer 2016? Was it as awful as I remember it being, or am I being too harsh on the films? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, this has been A What on Earth. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.